I remember what it's like at 15 years old to have my first job downtown Chicago as a bike messenger. Boy, did I have a lot of money back then. But how come is it that when I got older, I enlisted to the Marine Corps, as well as some of my friends who had their own jobs. And they're teenagers. How old were you guys when you were teenagers?
First job, 15.
15?
16.
14.
So they had their first jobs at 14, 15 years old. We all had the same type of scenario, but how come is it we got more promoted in our jobs, we made more money, we felt more broke? So we're gonna talk in this video about 10 reasons what keeps a broke. What's cracking, everybody? Money Smart Guy, Matt Sapaula here, hailing to you from the Money Smart Movement Team headquarters, the Chicago suburb of Chicago, known as Oak Brook, Illinois. And while we have a couple days left in October, I just want to wish all my Filipino brothers and sisters happy Philippine American History Month, because I'm surrounded by Puerto Ricans. I mean, we have the similar flag, right? We got the Filipino flag and the Puerto Rican flag.
True. Same colors.
Same colors.
Yes.
Some similar food.
Love the food.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
Korea products. So you guys have what in your flag? What symbol?
It's a star.
They got a star in their flag. We happen to have the sun. So either way, I'm excited about this. Listen, just so you guys know, Rudy Ortiz here and Veronica Garcia come from this wealthy suburb in Chicago known as Humboldt Park. Not necessarily wealthy.
Not at all.
Well, how would you describe your old neighborhood growing up?
Veronica?
Hood.
One word, not a sentence. It was the hood. So if you're watching this video, you're listening to a bunch of people that we didn't have a silver spoon in our mouth. We didn't have the right credit score. We didn't have a financial head start. We didn't have a small loan from our father from $1 million, $2 million, $3 million to get our lives ahead. We started from this thing called scratch. Let's talk about it. There's two key areas that we like to address. The 10 key points are coming from. The first category is from the category of how you think money, because money is a mindset.
Absolutely.
So our first step here with money being a mindset is number one, ignorant comfortability.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, we've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of people through our financial education firm and helping people. And one of the things that I've come to realize, Matt, is people are ignorantly comfortable, like you said. And basically, they lack a bigger vision for their life. And so they're okay with the status quo. They're okay being average. They're okay with what little bit they have. And they might be paying their bills, but they're not really fulfilled. And
they're not happy.
They're not happy. And the reality is that from what I've seen, that just comes from small thinking. They're just not thinking beyond themselves. They think about themselves. I think about me, my wife, my 2 kids, whatever. And I don't think about my great grandkids. I don't think about legacy. I don't think about bigger picture stuff that impacts the world that I live in adding value to them. So I think that's a big problem with people, and it's one of the bigger things that's keeping them from experiencing financial success.
Interesting. Number 2, busy yet not productive. Vero, you've seen a lot of people busy,
Oh, yeah.
but not productive financially. What gives?
Yeah, so I feel that for one, people are always distracted with the good that keeps them from really becoming great. And it's just really simply put, it's procrastination. It's one of our main characteristics for some reason when it comes to what we do and what we delay in doing. It's always in the form of procrastination. There's something that I've learned being in business and just throughout my life in general is that we tend to be very busy when it comes to activity, but not in the productivity. So we're not productive. And a lot of things just come in our way. We're distracted. There are things that we can do, for example, when you're looking to, say, do your homework. When I was in college, I was very busy in social media, and I would get consumed in that life of social media, and I would feel like I was getting nowhere. And we're constantly distracted in everything that we do, from the kids to the home. When I work from home, I'm distracted with laundry. I'm distracted with, I gotta pay this bill, or I have to do that, and we get consumed with it. Yes, exactly. Yeah. We get consumed with being so distracted that we end up at the end of the day, we feel like we've accomplished nothing. And I think that happens to a lot of us, and I think a lot of you can relate to that. Yep. And that we feel like we've had a very busy day, we're exhausted, but we look back and like, what the heck did I get done today? And that goes on, and it affects us in our careers, it affects us in progressing in life in general to get to that next level.
And just so you guys know, Veronica is a single mom, 2 teenage boys. She's taken. But I want you guys to know that you cannot afford to be non-productive.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Number 3, just enough. Rudy, talk to us about just having just enough. I think you alluded to it even in number one.
Yeah, it goes right alongside with number one, which is people just have a lack of work ethic. They don't really want to pay the price, and they're wanting to get the maximum that they can get for the minimum input. If I can get a biggest check, but I only want to work 40 hours a week, right? Don't ask me to stay overtime. Don't ask me to stay, 2 hours more. And so a lot of people have created this habit, and it's a mental habit where they give just enough. Like, for example, in their jobs, they might work just enough so that they don't quit. But what they don't realize is they're reaping from their employer the similar mindset where they're paying them just enough, or they'll pay them just enough so they don't quit, but the person is doing just enough so that they don't get fired.
Right? Because it's not in the job description. I can't take ownership or responsibility for it because it wasn't my job to begin with, but yet they wonder why they're always broke because they don't get promoted.
Exactly. So they're never going above and beyond what they can do, and it's creating these lazy habits where it's deteriorating their work ethic. When I look at millionaires, man, they work a lot of hours, especially in the beginning when they first started building their businesses. Matter of fact, I think Laura Langemeyer, who's a multimillionaire, there's a meme out there, it was very powerful. She says, I work 80 hours a week so that I don't have to work 40 hours a week.
Right. And would you like to compress that within a smaller time frame if you're going to put all the work in, so therefore you can enjoy your life? And sometimes people just don't punt. They want to punt it forward. They just want to enjoy it now.
That's exactly
Especially
right.
in the Latino community, right? It's mi vida loca, right?
See it all the time. Yeah, people are living for today. Yeah. They're not thinking about the future. And the thing about life is you blink 3 times, man, 10 years are gone, and you're still in the same place because you didn't cultivate the right habits.
Filipinos are the same way too, just not Latinos. Filipinos are the same way too as well. Yep. Fourth reason what keeps the broke, lack of ownership. Vero, how would you suggest people take ownership, or what's even things that they don't take ownership in?
I say this so often, I think I post it so much on social media, is people are victim of their circumstances. And there's something that I've always said to this, and that is you have 2 options. You can either be a victim of your past or current circumstances, or you can be the victor of your future. Both are choices. And unfortunately, most people prefer or they choose to be a victim of their circumstances, which unfortunately reaps into, again, their professional life, their spiritual life, their personal life, in which they can never get ahead because they have the poor me mindset consistently.
Yeah, but it's never their fault though.
It's never their fault. No, right. They're very quick to shift blame. Very quick. It's never my fault. When it comes to their career, they'll say, well, I couldn't advance because so-and-so didn't provide me with these resources to be able to do my job and get ahead. They're very quick to say, well, you know what, my mom and dad didn't do this, my mom and dad didn't do that, and that's why I can't do this. Or, they're very, very quick to shift blame. And that's a really, really big deal. And the one thing that I also say to a lot of, especially with my clients and my mentees and so on, is things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
Love that.
Boom!
And I think too often we see things as, oh, this has happened to me again. I know several people who will very quickly get into the, oh, this happened to me, and they get so stuck into that one situation that they'll let their entire day, week, and then month fly them by because they were stuck on the one thing that happened to them back then.
I think that's a very powerful point that she just made, man. And I think that's really the secret is,
don't blame, don't justify, don't complain. Understand that you have more power over your situation that you realize.
Absolutely.
You just gotta ask questions.
That's it.
Fifth reason why the broke stay broke. Who's in your ear? Not who's in your wallet, but who's in your ear. Talk to us about who's in your ear.
Well, I don't know who told me this. I wish I could give them full credit. Probably just learned it through life, but it's something that I've adopted in my life, Matt. And I've learned I don't take marriage advice from people that have been divorced 4 or 5 times. I don't take health advice from people that are obviously unhealthy.
You know the crazy part, man? I went to a gym and the trainer is like overweight. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on here, man? I'm like, right, but continue.
Yeah. Same thing with business. I don't take business advice from employees, and I don't take financial advice from broke people. I think it sounds common sense, but so many people take so much advice from the people they should never listen to. And simply it's because of a proximity. Maybe it's their parents, maybe it's their brothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, their siblings, people that they love and care about and that they certainly respect. But the reality is they haven't objectively looked at those people and said, hey, are these people even qualified qualified to give me advice in that area. And even though I don't take their advice because they're not qualified, doesn't necessarily mean that I don't love them or I don't care about them.
Yeah, it's not like you're replacing them.
Yeah, it's just I've got to live in a place of wisdom where I understand that, hey, this person cares about me, but they're not qualified to give me that advice. I need to go seek that advice from people that are actually qualified. And how do I know they're qualified? One, they're in the trenches. They're doing what they're telling me to do. They didn't do it 20 years ago. They're doing it now, and they've created fruit. They've produced fruit. They have success in that area, right? So they have if I want business advice, they have a booming business. If I want marriage, they've been married happily and they're still in love 30 years in, you know. If I'm looking for health advice, the person lives healthy, they eat healthy, they live that lifestyle, and they're a great example of that. I think that's a big problem with people is they're just taking the wrong advice from the right people.
Because if you want it in your pocket, it's got to start with your head. So let's shift gears. Let's shift gears into some more financial practicality, some financial habits.
Sure.
Sounds good? I do want you to know that before we even jump into the financial habits, it's not like these two have a salary through me. No, we work together. They don't work for me. We work together. We're partners together in business. You guys pay rent here at the office. You guys have your own expenses.
Sure.
So they're not talking from a position of just theory and, you know, concepts. They're actually, you know, walking the walk. So just want you to know the people that we've associated with the Money Smart movement, our vlogs, our workshops, our associations, are people just not willing to talk the talk, but willing to walk the walk too as well. So let's jump into financial habits. All right, number one, income is too low. Rudy, what do we mean by that?
People don't make enough money, Matt. That's just the bottom line. I mean, people in America are not making enough money. And because of that, they're living paycheck to paycheck. But more importantly, it's just not that their income is too low. It's their income is too low because of the way that they make money for the majority of people. Meaning that they're trading time for dollars. They're making money in a linear income fashion, right? So if they don't go to work, they don't get paid. So if anything impedes their time from being traded for money, for example, a sickness, a health issue, an emergency, anything that gets in the way from them trading time for money, there is no more money to be made. People need to understand and need to learn is how they can shift from a linear income mindset and a linear income system to a leveraged income system, which is what the wealthy do. Make money while they sleep. They don't have to trade their time for it. They've created systems and processes that make them a lot of money and that continually scale. I mean, you know, you're a prime example of that. You and Sheena, in 36 months, you guys became millionaires because you leveraged a scalable system that wasn't determined on your time involvement over time. I mean, you put in a lot of work, but you're now at a place where, I mean, you know, the minimum time, still maximum money. And that's what all the wealthy people do, and that's what everybody in America needs to learn to do.
And I think the model that we all follow, or at least we educate ourselves from this book, was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. First book was about mindset, right? Two different daddies, natural dad and best friend dad, and how they looked at money. So it was mindset. The second book was the cash flow quadrant. So let's talk about the cash flow quadrant. So if we put a plus sign, cash flow quadrant right here, what's on the top left quadrant?
Employee.
Employee, bottom left?
Self-employed.
So either they're working for somebody or they're working for themselves, right? And the moment they don't clock in, they don't get paid. So that's 95% of everybody in America. Okay? Even if they are independent contractor, even in what they call it gig economy. I got a gig here, I got a gig there. But the moment, the freelancers, but the moment you have a gig, they got the money. Okay? So the top right quadrant then is what we're all gravitating towards, with the wealthy gravitate, what you talking about. What's the top right?
Business owner.
Business owner. Based on systems and processes, not talent, or you punching in the clock. You still make. And then the bottom right middle. Investors, right? Now you're a shark. You're investing in other people, opportunities, and you're just printing money. So that way you can increase your income. And man, once you start increasing your income, I mean, how did you guys both feel when you started working for yourselves and whatever Uncle Sam was paying you, or cousin Illinois is paying you, and a cousin Chicago is paying you, right, at CTA. How did you guys feel when you started replacing your full-time income on a part-time basis?
It's awesome. I mean, it's very liberating when you realize that you can actually you cut your own checks based on your efforts and the relationships that you build and so on. You're not counting on another man, another woman to cut that check for you to pay your bills.
And you know, what's funny about that, Matt, going back to what I was saying, I was able to replace a full-time linear income, high linear income, almost six figures, through a leveraged system, leverage income model. We were able to replace that in 7 months. So that's the proof in the pudding right there that, you know.
I remember that call. He was calling me from the state building. Hey, Matt, my job is getting in the way of my business.
Making more money through my business than my job.
That's awesome. Very good. Second reason why most people stay broke is because everything else is priority. Talk to us about that, Beto.
So this is a topic that I talk about every single sit-down conversation I have with a client, and that is them not paying themselves first. They're so focused on, I gotta pay this bill, but I have all this debt, and so I can't save, and so on. And so I love the concept that we teach in our firm, and that is basically being able to teach a client debt management skills while building that savings muscle simultaneously. Why? Because oftentimes, I'm sure everyone will agree that when you're stuck in a rut and you're in debt, when you can't save, what are you doing? You're paying everyone else, but you're not paying you. So now 3-4 years later, you're out of debt, and what don't you have? You've never built a savings muscle, you don't have savings, there's no money, you get yourself into a jam that's over $1,000, and now you're literally living that vicious debt saving cycle, or mostly debt cycle.
It's like that uncle, right? He's like giving out money to all the nieces and nephews, maybe, and then he leaves you out.
Yeah.
He's like, what's up?
Like, what about me?
Yeah, right. That's like what we do to ourselves when we don't put money away.
Yeah.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
Third reason why the broke stay broke is winging it. And we're not talking about wing stop, maybe we are, but they're winging it. What are we talking about, Rudy?
Wingstop might have something to do with that, but well, basically what we're talking about, Matt, is people treating their money on the cuff, on the fly, not really respecting it by not having a budget, not having a plan, not staying true to being focused on their goals and their dreams. You know, so many people, they get their money and they're living in a reactive mode, right? And this kind of goes along with what Vero just talked about, where, you know, they don't pay themselves first. They just, you know, hey, I got this bill, and then all of a sudden, girlfriend, boyfriend calls or whatever, a friend calls, hey man, they got this sale, or let's go here, let's go there. Next thing you know, they're spending money that they have no business spending, but if they were working with a budget, they'd know that. But because they're working off of emotion and opportunity or whatever, you know, it's robbing them of their financial future.
I was 42 years old before I got my first pair of Jordans. I wear Jordans all the time now, but I was 42 years old before I got my first pair of Jordans, and I didn't even buy it. Patrick gave it to me.
Wow.
And then it was just 2 months ago that I got my first Xbox.
Yes, he was so excited about it.
It wasn't even mine. It was for JoJo, so I can teach him to play soccer.
Of course.
But I was at those age, and now that I have them, I mean, of course, outside of Georgia, I'm not sitting at home playing games. It's like, cool, but I'm not robbing myself of time to progressively, unless it's a profession of mine I don't really want to do.
Sure.
So yeah, winging it. Stop winging it. Number 4, no formula.
No recipe.
What you talking about that?
Well, you know, I think this point is going to tie it all together, Matt, but a lot of people, they don't have a budget, they're making linear income. One of the ways that they can solve that is by using what we call the 50-30-20 method for financial success. Okay, so what does 50-30-20 mean? Live on 50% of your income. 50%, half your money needs to pay your bills, rent, food, everything. The other 30%, you need to invest it like the wealthy do. Leveraged income.
Feed the machine.
Feed the machine in your business, in your investments, and then the last 20%, you need to pay yourself first and you need to put that in savings. Anybody, regardless of what income level they have today, they can do that. And then as you grow, you increase your percentages always stay the same. The amount will always increase as you grow your money.
And if you don't like that formula, reference point number 1.
Yeah, you're not making enough money.
So make more money and keep the expenses low.
Absolutely.
It's funny, I was at the United Nations Association. They were giving me an award earlier this week. And the lady next to me, she goes, listen, I love what you're talking about financial literacy and the things that you're doing to fight financial injustice. But man, my husband and I were asset managers and we spend more money than what we make. And they're in the money business.
Wow.
So I've got zero enamoration for people who have a title, who have a huge contract, who have a lot of money, because I know that's only the facade. When people are able to be truthful and honest with themselves, that's when true change can happen.
Absolutely.
Number 5, Vero, take us home on this one. Comparing versus improving.
So have we all heard, I'm sure we all have, keeping up with the Joneses, yes? Yes.
Keeping up with the Ortizes. Garcias.
Far too often, people are buying homes in neighborhoods they cannot afford. They're buying cars that they cannot afford. They're putting rims on those cars that don't increase it in value.
I did that 3 times.
They're putting systems in the vehicles that don't increase it in value. They're buying the J's and they're everything, right? Just to have that image, have that presence to live this facade that they're living better than they actually are. But most times, why does that come about? It's a mindset thing. Again, it's all about comparing what one has compared to actually improving themselves. There's gonna be times when you're gonna see your cousins and your friends and maybe a coworker or someone that maybe has something that you aspire to have, and in order for you to feel better about your situations, you go out there and you buy buy it, but you buy it on credit, or you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, that kind of thing. And it's all because in our mind, we feel that you have to keep up with what everyone else has. And that's really not going to get you in a better financial position long term. Live within your means, improve yourself, so then you can then work towards having exactly what you want.
That's interesting. So instead of looking outward into what everybody has, let me look inward into who I want to become.
Yes.
Yo, we dropping some dimes, nuggets, boulders in this video.
Yes.
If you've been watching this video up until now, we hope that you subscribe to our YouTube channel right here. But we want to up you one more because we want to give you solutions to these things that we're talking about, and a solution how to improve your mindset in terms of breaking out of the paycheck to paycheck broke cycle into the wealth building cycle. And we're going to give you some solutions and some practicality on what you can do from a financial habit standpoint so you can break loose of the poverty broke to broke cycle. How? Go to our website, click the link below on this video, and we'll give you a PDF by going onto our website, entering your information, and we'll give you a PDF with some solutions, not only these points, but some solutions that we know will fix your life if you choose to improve it. With that being said, on behalf of Rudy Ortiz, Veronica Garcia, I'm your Money Smart Guy. Thanks for watching this. By the way, if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you click like to our business pages. And until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today.